Western Scotland. And look at those temperatures. We could get to 26, 27 tomorrow by Sunday, highs in the low 20s and for many mid to high teens.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could be our biggest winner yet, touring in this stylish Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. This brand new 2025 model comes complete with kitchen and bathroom areas and enough space to comfortably sleep a family of 4. We'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to add a few of your favourite things. Don't miss out as lines close on the 6th of June. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We're proud to be GB News, the People's Channel. And as you know, we always love to hear your views. Now, there's a new way of getting in touch with us at gbnews.com/yoursay. By commenting, you can be part of a live conversation and join our GB News community. You can even talk to me, Bev Turner, or any of the members of the GB News family.
Headliners on GB News 11 p.m. every night. It's got 3 top comedians going through the next day's newspapers so you don't have to read them, which is great.
That's a good point. He's lying. I mean, maybe he's not lying.
That's Headliners every night from 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. as well on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hello, it's 11 o'clock, which means it's time for tomorrow's newspapers tonight. Just look at 6. Sorry. Read on. OK, join us over the next hour. It's going to be very smooth. We're going to question Chris Packham's green credentials. We're going to debate whether trans NHS staff should get extra breaks to resolve underwear issues. And we're going to find out why your favourite drink would fail modern safety standards if it were invented today. I'm Cressida Wetton, and tonight I'm joined by Leo Kearse and Nick Dixon to take you through Saturday's top stories. This is Headliners. Welcome to Headliners. You're in for a treat. We're going to give you the best of tomorrow's newspapers with the best of today's comedians. I'm joined by Leo Kearse and Nick Dixon tonight. How are you both?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Probably not that. I'm all right.
Yeah. I thought you pulled out that fine.
You knew what was going on in this. Good, yes, smooth, professional,
yeah,
etc. Nick, how are you getting on?
Loving it, loving life. Yeah, I like your dress.
Thanks.
Leo's looking good. Just trying to just be complimentary of everyone to, boost the morale.
Good strategy, I would say.
After 3 years.
Yeah, I thought I'd start. Why not? Give it a crack. Doesn't suit me. People just looked at me weirdly.
Better late than never. Shall we have a look at some front pages? Leo, what's the Telegraph got on it?
So the Telegraph has, it's got a picture of Elon Musk, I think sort of being fired by Trump. He's stepping down from his Doge role. We're going to cover that later. He's also got a black eye. Don't know, he's got about 24 baby mamas, so any one of them could have given it to him.
He claimed it was the baby, not the baby mama. He said it was his 5-year-old.
Really?
But of course, when you get the black eye, the internet goes absolutely crazy. He's part of the secret black eye ritual club. Have you seen that stuff?
No.
It's just like Elon. He's already the richest man in the world. It's like now he's part of the secret black eye club. Anyway, sorry.
Well, children toddlers especially, are very bad at poking you in the eye because they don't know that if they poke you in the eye, it's sore. So they just do it.
It's got to be one of the first things you tell them, Leo.
Well,
I'm not a parent, but it's really got to be
He told his kid to
high
hit him as hard as he could, and he said that 5-year-old can actually hit quite hard.
Yeah. There's also this story here that we'll cover in a moment. Pressure builds on Starmer to sack law chief over Nazi smear. Apparently he saw his boxer shorts hanging up in the washing line. There was a skid mark in the shape of a swastika. Very bad for Keir Starmer. But the main story is foreigners claim £1 billion a month in benefits. That's each one is claiming. No, that's for the whole lot. But this is ridiculous. At a time when we are so short of money, our deficit was $20 billion. We're borrowing £20 billion. We're borrowing £20 billion a month more than we're raising in taxes to be dishing it out willy-nilly to anybody who can come here. Number one, we can't afford it. Why are we giving it away for free? Number two, this is why everybody's coming here, because they get stuff for free.
I thought they were coming here to enrich our economy and improve our financial outlook.
Some of them are. You know what I mean? There's people coming. There's people coming from Hong Kong. There's high-skilled people. They're not the ones that Whitehall likes. They're not the ones that the Home Office likes. And I think it's disgusting that, it's the other story down here. Reeves is set for £24 billion tax raid, warns banks. So they're going to rack up. They're going to crank up taxes even higher. We're already seeing taxpayers leave the country.
Tell you what, I'm really going off these foreigners. I've been doing this show for 3 years, constantly hearing stuff about them. I thought it'd be hilarious, but that'll be clipped by my many enemies. I'm just reading the Telegraph. The Telegraph says foreigners. I get all my views from them. Yeah. It's the dependence thing, isn't it? Immigration wouldn't be that crazy if it wasn't for dependence. It's a student visa racket. It's always a dependence. You come in, you come in on some like that person that called into LBC and said, "Oh, I just came in with my sister's dodgy business. Then I just got a different job." Or you get a care home job for 10 minutes. Then you bring in your 16 wives.
Bringing their family always. Imagine going to university and taking your mum.
I know. You're doing a 2-year media course. Like, I need my grandma. It's nonsense.
Yeah. And half of the universities are set up just as a cover to provide these sort of fraudulent or semi-fraudulent visas to allow people to come here and bring their families. And of course, once people are here, you can never. It's like Japanese knotweed. You know what I mean? The ECHR is like, oh no, you can't possibly put weed killer on that bit of garden. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's many Japanese people coming here.
Yeah. No, well, there's a few in Richmond, but to be honest. People are like, oh my God, if you're against immigration, then you're racist. I would love for as many Japanese people to come here as possible. I've never, ever, ever had anybody say, Japanese people have moved in next door and it's an absolute nightmare.
OK, let's have a look at the Daily Mail, please, Nick.
Yeah, the Mail has PM told to sack legal chief over Nazi slur. This is about Lord Hermer, who made a speech which hasn't gone down that well, where he compared demands to quit the ECHR to Nazi ideology. I think, and this is going to surprise people, this has been blown out of proportion. I think he was trying to make an intellectual point that's been sort of soundbited. It's quite complicated, I'm afraid, but how long have we got? Because basically he was referencing Carl Schmitt and saying that it's to do with these courts, like the ECHR, put a check on power, essentially. And he was referencing Carl Schmitt, who had this idea of the exception, meaning that he is sovereign who decides the exception, meaning the person who has real power can just boot out all the rules. And he's saying we don't want that, hence we have all these courts, a check on that. Now, a counter-argument might be, even though Schmitt, by the way, was in the Nazi party, but he's also seen as a serious political thinker, the counter would be, these kind of courts now have become the power. We saw last night, just a typical story, the upper tribunal court overrules the Home Office and using Article 8 refuses to deport someone. So my argument would be the counter to Lord Hermer saying, hang on, haven't these courts themselves become the unchecked power against the democratically elected government?
Absolutely. And so many of our institutions and Europe's institutions have been captured by these far-left activists. So they're not acting in the people's best interests or acting in the people's wishes. So we elect politicians who say they're going to do these things like, we're going to make sure we restrict immigration, we're going to stop the small boats, and then they can't do it because the real power lies with these institutions that, we've seen the slow march through them, and they're now essentially communist.
Well, and now people are talking about reforming the institutions. That's not going to happen, is it? Because you'd have to have this total agreement. Is it 46? Everyone's got to agree before you can change anything.
Yeah.
That's completely impractical. And so Robert Jenrick saying, it seems Labour haven't learned a thing. That's exactly what I think. It's the same tone of we know best.
Yeah.
OK, right, let's have a look at The Sun, please, Leo.
So The Sun has fury at treats for a beast. So jail officers must serve chocolates to Axel Muganwa Rudakabana, which is, I guess when you're in prison, you're allowed privileges and all the rest of it, but it's kind of disgusting that, a year on, or nearly a year on, people are still grieving for the girls he killed, and he's not just, having a nice time in jail. Killers like that, our jails are now essentially run by Islamist gangs, and they celebrate people who do things like this because he's done exactly what the Islamist gangs want to do. And I don't even think he won't serve like 50 years. He'll be in there for like 20 years, then there'll be an Islamist takeover of the UK, they'll smash down the prison walls, they'll release the prisoners. So, I think people should look at what happened in Iran, what happened in Syria. Once numbers reach a critical mass.
Nick.
Wow, you've gone full apocalypse in these dog days. Yeah, well, there would be a solution for this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but there would have been a way to make sure he has no treats again, which we all know we should have the death penalty in this country. And people support it, and majority of Brits support it for child murder, terrorist murder and multiple murder. So why don't we go along with the people? That's what I've always said, not just in this case. You've also got Taylor buys back her life's work for $360 million. Taylor Swift, the reason she's successful, she's the kind of person that's sort of driven and ruthless and sort of vengeance-filled enough to... She recorded all her albums again, didn't she, and called it Taylor's version, just because the record label had screwed her over. She recorded slightly worse versions of the same song so that she owned them. And that's the kind of obsessive, borderline insane drive you need to succeed at that level.
I think she gets up very early in the morning, doesn't she? She's...
Yes.
Never misses
I'm not attacking her before the many zealous fans attack me. I'm saying it's great she got back her work. That's what I'm saying.
OK, can we have a look at the Times, please, Nick?
Yeah, the Times defence pledge by Labour. So the budget for defence will rise to 3% by 2034, apparently. So they're absolutely smashing it. And this is John Healey, who I always forget is the Defence Secretary, because he's just kind of, I don't know, just nothingy, but I'm sure he's a great guy. And Trump has put a lot of pressure on for this. Many people have said we've got to do this. And before it was an ambition, Starmer was calling it, but now they're calling it a certainty. So it's moved from ambition to certainty. Very important, massive. It's like amber warning to red warning or whatever it is. It's like the word has changed, guys.
Yeah. I still think, he's saying, we're going to rise to 3% by 2034. It's like Putin's troops are massing at the borders of Lithuania and Finland. Putin's not going to wait till 2034 till you raise it incrementally to 3%. And also, when you raise it to 3%, all that money is just going to get spent on diversity coordinators and painting the tanks.
Well, maybe this is actually a
trans flag colours.
A tactic, and really they're putting loads of money away in an account they're not even going to let Rachel Reeves know about, and they'll surprise us with it. But I doubt it.
Our army's been totally hollowed out by successive political establishments that have just, had other things to spend the money on, such as, foreigners' benefits.
OK. We have a look at The Guardian next.
The Guardian has Why I Quit by Jacinda Ardern, the world leader who could eat an apple through a tennis racket. She quit because she's rubbish and she was going to be defenestrated shortly afterwards. So she got out before that happened, like what's her name? Little cranky... What's her name?
Nicola Sturgeon.
Yeah, I should know. She was my queen for about 2 decades. But the main story here is Britain facing a new era of security threats. So there are all these new technologies, AI and drones and things like that, that are causing all these security problems. And we saw this. It was either, I think it was today or yesterday, that a prison officer was stabbed at one of the prisons, and they brought the knife into the prisoner using a drone, so they can carry in drugs, they can carry in mobile phones, weapons, and just drop it by drone. And drones can pick up pretty sizable things. Some of the ones they've got in Ukraine Ukraine are just are insane, and they can travel for thousands of miles and take out targets. They've got AI on the drones, so you know what Ukraine's got now is it's got like a sort of mothership drone that can go 300 kilometres. Then it releases AI-driven drones. They don't need GPS. They don't need anything like that. They just find something that looks like a tank and blows it up.
Oh, I can't see that going wrong. That's terrifying. I saw a story today about a middle-class family who couldn't use their bath because they were so scared of drones.
Did they mean spiders?
No, I think they meant...
Where was the bath? Like, outside in Ukraine? Well, that's a good question, but I
think if you've got a private house somewhere with, you know, maybe some sort of attic bathroom, I'm just saying they're an invasion of privacy for some people.
Oh, looking through the window.
Yes,
Why don't they get that wobbly glass?
Very good.
That's what we got on that one.
Oh, right, that's all we've got to look at on The Guardian, then, is it? Not doing the breast cancer story, fair enough. Let's have a look at The Express, please.
Express has rubbish idea, question mark. Residents can have up to 11 bins, so householders are being burdened by an increasingly complicated and confusing rubbish sorting system. They don't bother in Birmingham, with one council offering up to 11 bins. So I don't understand really why, because I've only just looked at it, but it sounds mental. But have you heard in Lambeth, wasn't it? They just stopped doing recycling completely because the populace there now couldn't understand it. And they're just going to... and couldn't be bothered. And
yeah,
they're going to do
I will defend that populace. It gets very... My mum lives in Bristol, and that's ridiculous. They've now got a special bag that you put the crisp packets in after you've washed them. That cannot save carbon emissions.
Nobody's washing a crisp packet.
No.
That's ridiculous.
An Italian told me, like, we're, like, the loosest in Europe. Like, apparently it's really strict, because they're more authoritarian in Europe. It just doesn't work here. We go, whatever, it's all going in a landfill anyway.
And also they're organised. I mean, I lived with... I lived in a warehouse, and we had lots of recycling bins. There was a Scandinavian lassie there who was all like, oh, we have, like, you know, 24 bins in Finland or whatever. And it's like, yeah, because you're organised and you're finished. We're British. We just like to get drunk. And also, they all organised the recycling and put it in the right bins. Nobody wanted to take it down to the actual big bins that you put it in. So I used to just take it down, and the nearest bin, I'd just chuck it all in.
But, Leo, let me ask you this. How many wars have they won, these Scandinavians? Well, Finland, not for ages. Maybe the Vikings and stuff.
Finland did pretty well against Russia.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's undermined that point.
OK, there's also a bird spotting pullout.
Wow.
Which, there you go.
Is that the bird? Oh, no, it's a different one. I was looking at that's somebody else.
OK, we've just got time to have a look at the Daily Star. I don't know who's got this. Is this you, Leo?
Sure, yeah. So this is Circus goes for woke. Tears of a clown. It's no fun for clowns as Generation Z don't like red noses and custard pies, but comical politicians still have us rolling in the aisles. No idea. I mean, I think circuses are less popular than they used to be. They got rid of all the... People used to really love... You know when they had a bear in shackles and it howled in pain?
No, they didn't.
People miss that.
They didn't
you know the sad elephant?
No sad elephant.
You know, the orangutan with cigarette burns on it.
That's why it's on its way out.
Dancing bears. Where did you go to second, Leo? Was it Russia or something?
Yeah, in the 1920s.
It is sad, the end of the clown. Then again, no one ever liked them. Did anyone actually like clowns?
They're creepy.
No, of course not.
They did get destroyed by Stephen King, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just like the sea got ruined by Jaws, and you couldn't go in the sea anymore. Yeah. Very bad PR. King destroyed clowns.
Yeah, and robots got destroyed by Avatar.
I haven't seen it.
There you go. OK, join us after the break when we'll be looking at some more hot stories, including a hairy asylum seeker with a deep voice.
Is that Nick?
Who's apparently a child, according to a tribunal. We'll hear more about that later. This is Headliners, only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
So a new book will challenge the conventional view of Alzheimer's, claiming that for the vast majority of people, it is not an inevitable part of ageing, but something that can actually be prevented.
So we're joined in studio now with Patrick Holford, chair of the Alzheimer's Prevention Expert Group, who joins us now. Patrick, it's a very powerful message, the idea that you can prevent Alzheimer's. There seems to be a sense that it's just inevitable with ageing for a lot of people. Why is it not?
It's not inevitable, because half of people don't get it. And one point to make very clearly is that less than 1 in 100 cases are caused by genes. So there's a few very, very rare genes which will cause Alzheimer's. So possibly for up to 99%, we can prevent it. And even a major UK biobank study, which, by the way, left out 2 of the most important risk factors, for reasons I'll explain, concluded that 73% can be prevented. Now, the terrible thing about Alzheimer's, which is really a shrinkage of the brain, is once you've got holes in your brain, there is no way to reverse that. The rate of brain shrinkage in people with pre-dementia reduced by 73%. In the latest drug, donanemab, the rate of brain shrinkage increased by 20%. So what we're really in right now is a pharmaceutically led sort of industry that is pushing for a cure. I don't think a cure will come because there isn't a single point.
Well, the book is Alzheimer's Prevention is the Cure. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Foodforthebrain.org.
Patrick Holford, chair of the Alzheimer's Prevention Expert Group.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Cressida Wetton, still joined by Leo Kearse and Nick Dixon. Just having a look at GB News Your Say. Tom Hallett, very generously, says, doing great, Cress. That's a bit familiar. It's actually more funny when things don't go to plan. Well, that is lucky, isn't it? What else have we got here?
There's this one here. Louise H. says, they need to find another show for these guys. We need some humour in these dark days. It's a good idea.
Good idea, yeah.
There you go. All right, brilliant. Keep sending in your comments. I can take it honestly. Let's go to some stories now. So we're going to be in the Telegraph next. Nick, what's that saying you really like? If there's grass on the pitch, defer to an asylum seeker's age assessment form. Is it something like that?
Yes, that's it. You nailed it. It's a hairy asylum seeker with deep voice is a child. Tribunal rules. Completely normal story in 2025. A hairy Sudanese asylum seeker with a deep voice is a child, and they've said that his hairy legs and arms were not a useful indicator of age. I can't imagine that standing up in other court cases, but OK. And this is decided by the upper tier of the Immigration and Asylum Chamber. It's exactly what I was saying earlier. These upper tiers we never see, and they get to decide complete nonsense. Like, oh, the hairy person, who's obviously in his 20s, is a child. And it's just ideological nonsense. It's just Emperor's New Clothes garbage because they want to keep everyone in the country. Not sure why, but it seems to be to destroy the country.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be. It's almost as if there's been a slow march through the institutions of these, horrific communists who, now they're venting their anger at capitalism on children because this man, he's clearly a man, is going to be placed with vulnerable children, either asylum-seeking children, or he'll be placed with British children in schools. We've seen it before. We've seen kids in schools post videos of fully grown adult males pretending to be school kids. It was sort of like Happy Days, where the Fonz is hanging around in the background, clearly aged about 42, or some of the cast of Grease.
It does seem bizarre, doesn't it? And the idea that because he was able to reel off his date of birth quickly, that was a sort of that was in his favour. And I think we used to do that in Oceania when I was 17. You got your sister's ID. You practiced before you did. We were drunk when we did that. This guy's had a chance to practice. It does seem bizarre.
And there's an easy
way.
way.
Happy Days for me completely. It's nothing sacred.
Well, there's an easy way as well to determine the age of the asylum seeker. What you do is you cut them in half and count the rings.
Yeah.
No, you can use They can do some sort of dental scan that shows, shows the age.
There's another way. You look at them, and if they're massive and hairy with a deep voice, job done.
Never going to work. OK, sticking with the Telegraph, Leo, why do some of our politicians have all the warmth and charisma of R2-D2?
So our members of Parliament are using AI, artificial intelligence, to polish speeches and prepare for Prime Minister's questions. And they're expensing these AI tools to help with tasks like polishing speeches and grilling the Prime Minister. I mean, I guess Starmer is a robot. If you ever see him, he's like the robot from Alien, the first Alien, and everybody's going to be surprised when he starts bleeding milk. But so obviously artificial intelligence is going to be good at coming up with questions for him, and it's probably better than a human asking the questions.
Well, I think this is quite compelling, isn't it? Because there's a Tory MP who's talked about it as a huge asset for his policy work. So he's saying, I wouldn't necessarily use it for my speeches, but for policy work, it's brilliant because you can look at masses of information really, really quickly.
Apparently, the AI did have more personality than Starmer, and they're going to try it as PM. But it's... and Kemi, you can understand some of her performances in PMQs when you realise it's come from AI, but AI is woke, though. That's the problem. Even Grok is pretty woke, and that's the least woke. And they're using ChatGPT, which is the most woke. We'll end up nuking the whole planet to avoid hurting a single trans person. Have you seen those things? You give ChatGPT a dilemma. Would it be worth nuking the whole planet or misgendering a trans person? They said, no, it's bad to misgender, it's not worth it. So imagine the terrible solutions you come up with if you actually listen to ChatGPT, which is just all the things people have put into it regurgitated anyway.
Right? Absolutely. And it would be nice to see these members of Parliament making the government apply artificial intelligence to make the government more efficient. I mean, when I worked in local authorities, you had masses of people sitting around just, producing reams of pointless legislation and stuff. And this is like, Haringey Council. This isn't the United Nations. Why does Haringey Council need people coming up with legislation? You're a council. Just fire them and replace them with a small piece of lard.
OK, there you go. So we're going to look at the Daily Mail now, and claims that Chris Packham is bringing unsightly detritus into a National Trust estate. I think that's grossly unfair. Michaela Strachan looks fantastic.
So this is a hypocritical. BBC is accused of damaging the countryside to film Chris Packham's Spring Watch. So the classic thing, really. Steel plates are laid out across part of the estate, and they're sort of doing all kinds of things that ruin the countryside. Tons of limestone tips in a gritstone landscape to facilitate access for huge lorries. Ditches blocked and tracks widened by vehicles they were never designed for. So, of course, it's the sort of hypocrisy of going into film Spring Watch while destroying the nature. And it just seems like the BBC can't catch a break. I mean, if one of these lorry drivers is also anti-Semitic, then it's just bad times for the BBC.
But yeah, lots of environmentalism is sort of anti the environment. I mean, if you look at people like Chris Packham, they want to stop grouse shooting, they want to stop wildfowling, things like that, because they're like, oh, it's cruel if you go and shoot the grouse. But in order to have grouse to shoot, you've got to keep the land, you've got to keep the moors in absolutely pristine environmental condition, no, blanket coniferous forestry, nothing like that. And it provides this incredible habitat for curlew, snipe, woodcock, or ptarmigan, and all the rest of it, and rare orchids and stuff. And without that investment, the land will be used for farming or whatever. So, if you want natural environment, you need to encourage field sports.
I've heard this the world over. Do you remember Ryan Dalton that used to do comedy and he makes wildlife podcasts, and he's really into the regulation around hunting rather than not hunting at all. Because exactly.
I didn't know that had already been done. I was about to suggest Leo has a new show called Leo Names Birds. You just reeling them off. I thought he is droning on the podcast about drones. Now you've got another podcast about birds. Very little you don't know.
We've got Miss France, 1979.
Absolutely not.
But also, if these environmentalists wanted to reduce the carbon footprint, wanted to, put less carbon in the air, the first thing they want to do is stop the boats, stop mass immigration. Because every time somebody comes from the Congo, which people in the Congo have a tiny carbon footprint, so much as sub-Saharan Africa, tiny carbon footprint. If they come from the third world to the UK, their carbon footprint goes up by as much as 150 times.
Wow.
So the first thing you should be doing is stopping the boats.
That's genius. I thought there was a subject that Leo couldn't bring back to immigration, but he absolutely did. He absolutely smashed it.
Don't come here, we'll corrupt you with our carbon. Of course, the BBC are sort of denying this. A spokesperson has said the field location was confirmed as appropriate for temporary use by local land managers and no wildlife has been displaced. And there you go, that's their opinion. Looking at the Telegraph now, and finally, someone is looking out for brave, beautiful women like you, Leo.
Yeah. Quite right too. So give trans staff extra breaks to adjust underwear, NHS Trust suggests. So this is University Hospitals Sussex NHS Trust, who said trans colleagues may require extra scheduled breaks in their shift in order to have breaks from binding and tucking. So if you want to know what binding and tucking is, binding is where a woman wears an item of clothing to compress their breasts, to make me angry, while the tuck involves pushing the testes and penis back between the legs to appear more female.
Do you have to say, I'm a lady, as you do?
Yeah, it seems that, you know, trans ideology comes from rugby clubs and not from left wing. So, yeah, there are issues with this. Apparently, this is a doctor who says that tucking male genitals between the buttocks can cause pain, inflammation, fertility problems and testicular torsion. So, warning for anybody at home who's thinking of shoving their testicles between their buckets.
Especially if you do it to someone else. To me, this seems ideological. I mean, why have guidance on this? People would adjust accordingly. If they had to adjust themselves, they would do it, right? There's nothing about men scratching their bits in this, presumably.
People talking here about, saying, why don't we have extra time for women with heavy periods? I think most women with heavy periods just take the time and sort it out. They don't suffer the consequences publicly.
Yeah.
And, of course, the other question is, why has any time at all been spent on this? Because the resources that have gone into this could be spent on something we might want more.
Yeah, like helping people not be ill, like what the NHS is supposed to do.
Wild. OK, we're in The Guardian now for an update on King Charles's Canadian trip. How's it going, Nick?
I don't really know, because this story's so pointless and boring, but I'll give it a go. King Charles's visit brings frustration to First Nations amid backslide in reconciliation. So he's going over there to Canada and he's saying, he's doing a subtle rebuke about Donald Trump's threats of annexation, etc. But now the Indigenous people of Canada, who I just thought were Canadians, but there's actual chiefs and stuff, they're saying, well, you're going on about Trump, but you're not focusing on us. So this is a tough story for me, because I already didn't care about Canada. And now I'm supposed to care about the Indigenous people of Canada, which I just doubly don't care about. So it's quite hard. Canada, I'm just joking, don't tweet me. OK, I love Canada. But I'm just looking forward to not having to read The Guardian anymore very soon.
I thought you loved King Charles, at least.
Well, look, I'm not dissing our great king, because I think you should support the king, whatever, but this is all this kind of anti-colonial, decolonial... Actually, I'm changing that. I don't support this decolonial stuff that monarchs get up to. Our monarch should be pro-colonialism. He should be bring back the empire.
He's signed his own death warrant, hasn't he?
Right.
And he keeps doing this with various issues, and it seems like the thing he's most worried about is offending anybody. He's not being regal.
Yeah, I want a king like Richard Lionheart, colonising, doing crusades, really cool, fun stuff like that. And, Canada was conquered. I'm sorry, but it was conquered. We conquered it fair and square. And, to now do this sort of we are sorry and we acknowledge the people who were here in the land. It's like, don't conquer them and then do this, silly little poem to make yourself feel better. That's more... I'd feel more patronised than if they were just yeah, we conquered you, so what? What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean?
Sol's about all the pillaging. Yeah. It doesn't stack up.
You're not giving the land back to them, so don't act like you might.
Imagine the morale boost right now in this. We need it in this country. If we just invaded somewhere small, and said the empire's back, lads. King Charles tweets, "Empire's back, lads," and we invaded the Chagos Islands or some other island no one's heard of. It'd be so good.
Yeah, just when they're when they send the invoice for the that money you said we were getting for having it back, and Keir Starmer's just psych, and a battleship turns up.
If you two want a new project, that sounds great. That's time for a break. Now, coming up, we're going to be discussing what Elon Musk has been up to in his personal life recently. Join us after the break. This is Headliners only on GB News.
Evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. The weekend promises a mixed picture, plenty of showers across northern and western parts and some gusty winds, but fine weather for much of East Anglia and South East England. Will be turning fresher for all of us behind this cold front, but it's still way out in the Atlantic at this stage. Ahead of it today, we've seen one or two heavy showers, particularly over northeast Scotland, but they're now fading away. And for many, it's a fine evening out there, staying dry for many overnight, turning quite misty and murky around the coast of South Wales and southwest England, with a few showers creeping into West Wales and western Scotland later on. Pretty mild, it's pretty humid, temperatures holding up in the teens for many in towns and cities. On to Saturday, and as I said, a mixed picture. Much of eastern England starting fine and dry, but we will see some showers coming into Scotland. Generally here a dry start to the day, and it will be quite a mild start as well. But the rain is gathering, and that will be pushing its way into the west of Northern Ireland fairly smartly through the morning. We'll see some showery rain also arriving in West Wales, and as I said, quite murky around the coasts of Wales and southwest England. But warm and humid across these eastern parts of England. Hazy sunshine here lasting for most of the day. A few showers moving north across maybe the Lake District into southern Scotland, and then this band of wet weather will move across Northern Ireland around the middle part of the day and turn things quite wet and quite windy in western Scotland. Some heavy downpours, even the odd rumble of thunder, and some showers ahead of it too across parts of eastern Scotland and northeast England. A warm, humid feel for many. We could get temperatures into the mid-20s across eastern areas, but Sunday's much fresher. Cooler, less humid air moving in. Again, much of the south and east dry and bright with sunny spells. Showers further north and west, with lots of showers coming into western Scotland. And look at those temperatures. We could get to 26, 27 tomorrow by Sunday, highs in the low 20s, and for many, mid to high teens.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel. Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Cressida Wetton, still joined by Leo Kearse and Nick Dixon. We've been looking at GB News Your Say in the break for your comments. Poopus Cooper says, hi Cressida, Leo's doing a great job, but keeps forgetting to mention the price of each newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
So a bit of feedback
Why only
for you
Leo?
there.
What's all that about?
They're all free because they're printed out on A4.
Colin Duke says, you used to go to a circus to see the fat tattooed lady, now they're everywhere.
Nice.
Did you have one you wanted to...
Well, I like Sarah S's one. Ha, the dream team not holding back tonight. And English Rose says, loving it. Thank you very much. And a good one from Hugh Jarrett as well, which I've lost now, but we'll read it out later because Hugh's an absolute legend. Oh, here it is. My Japanese neighbours are an absolute nightmare, Leo. Going modestly about their business, being polite, they're making no effort to integrate. Thanks, Hugh.
To be fair, integrating into British culture now would mean not being polite.
Exactly. I think that's his point.
Oh.
Right, let's have a look at some stories. Daily Mail. Nick, tell us what you admire most about Elon Musk.
So much. I love everything about Musk. And this headline is explosive report claims crippling drug habit was real reason for Elon Musk's Doge downfall. So, I mean, of course, I don't believe this for a second, but the article does say he took ecstasy, psychedelic mushrooms and travelled with a daily pillbox that contained about 20 different drugs, including Adderall. But the haters going to hate. I mean, he's got to do something, right? He's trying to get on Mars. He's got about 18 companies. He's also the president, sort of. You know, of course he's taking Adderall.
He's really, really clever. Everyone's probably very boring to him, so he's trying to spice things up a bit.
Right. So he's taking mushrooms while setting off a rocket, while talking to Trump. And, and he had the black eye as well, which he claimed was his kid. But, you know, JFK, they used to make these claims about he needs something with his schedule. I mean, I don't mind too much, but, you know, I don't mind because he's a genius. What I mind is really obnoxious, awful people who aren't geniuses. Yeah. People say he's obnoxious, but at least he's a genius. I'm not saying he's awful, but apparently he has clashed with Rubio, Besant, Duffy, all these people in the administration, because you can imagine, right, Musk's in there just doing what the heck he wants, and they're like, we're trying to do serious government stuff. Yeah. And apparently he has struggled with the red tape of government, but he is up against the deep state.
Well, I can't imagine it. A group of strong-willed men working together and not coming to a consensus on what they're trying to work on.
That must be tough. The Babylon Bee had a funny headline that said Musk leaves government to Musk leaves his job of trying to make government smaller to do the much easier job of putting people on Mars.
Right.
It said exactly than that.
The deep state is so deep.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, Trump is part of it. His recent big, beautiful bill has raised the deficit by $3 trillion. And Musk is outraged by this. You know, Musk had a sort of Javier approach to government where you just slash all the pointless, useless seat polishers, all these, fat people just sitting around. I mean, I get that, fat people need somewhere to go that's warm, but, why does it have to be a government job? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and by the way, he criticised Trump on that, didn't he? He said, Musk, a bill can be big or beautiful, but not both, because he doesn't want government to be big. So people said, oh, this shows the rift that he's actually semi-criticising Trump.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that he's been taking, or allegedly been taking ketamine for depression, because it's a horse tranquilizer.
Only once every 2 weeks, Leo.
Yeah, but did he go to a vet? I mean, don't we normally get human drugs for stuff like that?
No, come on, don't be so naive. Not everyone, but I mean, it's a very common... We keep reading about...
Cressida does ketamine every night before she comes in. That's how she copes.
I wish I did. It would help. I'm sure it would. No, I keep reading about celebrities losing their bladders to this. It's horrendous. It's not uncommon.
What does it do? Is it like, sort of like, cocaine can rot away your nose? Does it do that to your bladder?
Well, it always seems to be... When I see these horrible tabloid headlines, it's always about the bladder. Yeah, so I don't know, and I don't care to find out. Daily Star now, and I'm worried that these new education plans will get in the way of kids exploring their 87 gender options, Leo.
Oh, they'll still get to do that. So this is school kids to be taught about army and wars in class to boost forces recruitment. So this is the British Army, Royal Air Force, Royal Navy and Royal Marines are going to go into classrooms, and they're also going to plan lessons to share career opportunities, because basically we need a lot of meat for the grinder. We need a lot of young people, young men especially, to go overseas and die soon for this country. They've got to go overseas and try and stop people coming into Ukraine, while millions of people pour into the UK and nobody can stop them. For some reason, I don't know why. What are they doing in Ukraine? They've got like trenches and guns and stuff like that, and they stop people coming in. The Polish border with Belarus, and the borders with Russia that they've got really strong fortifications. Why can't we do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, what they expect, they've denigrated the native population, they've denigrated the country. No one's patriotic anymore. There's nothing to be patriotic about. Gen Z or Gen Z don't identify with the military at all. And now they're going, oh, we need military people. And I know it's Leo's job to bring it back to DEI, but you've also got DEI, the useless white males comment from the RAF, actively discouraging the few straight white men that are actually trying to apply. Yeah. But at some point, as you say, they're going to need it, more young people for their wars, for their meat grinder, but they've lost them because of the rhetoric.
Yeah, so you're being asked to go overseas and fight while your children are preyed upon by grooming gangs back in Britain, and your wife is... I
don't think that's the official offer.
Your wife is beheaded by...
He's quoting the new advert.
Yeah, but your wife is beheaded by, machete-wielding gangs.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the house that you rent because you can't buy it, with your no children that you can't afford.
But on the plus side, the youth learning about war, I mean, that's not a bad thing, is it? They might be inspired. They're going to see some masculinity. At least it's going to be discussed in a positive light.
Where was this the last 40 years? When there's no war, all of a sudden we've all got to be this sort of feminised, weak, wimpy sort of, any masculinity, any aggression is seen as toxic. Now all of a sudden, turns out you need some toxic masculinity.
Well, it's the weak men meme, isn't it? Weak men creating hard times. OK, we're in the Telegraph now for some research about alcohol. I think you were actually the researcher on this, weren't you, Nick?
Yeah, it's only drink one glass of wine a year, says researcher. How dare you? You've made me make make a joke about myself by reading the headline. Yeah, because, of course, I'm against all drinking and
Well, this
drugs.
would be a bit of a bender year for you, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that'd be me just letting my hair down. But, no, drinking's disgusting. I mean, you only got to get the tube one night and see the kind of degeneracy that goes on. Anyway, I could carry on. But this was Professor David Nutt, and he perhaps is named appropriately because he claims that alcohol is worse than loads of really bad drugs like heroin, the fifth most harmful drug after heroin, cocaine, barbiturates and methadone. I mean, really?
Yes, it depends how you measure it, doesn't it? I don't know exactly what he's measuring, but in terms of cost, alcohol causes loads of trouble and fights and injuries and
there is that.
Criminal activity.
Is that what he means, though? Look, I don't want to diss David Nutt, I'm just having a laugh, but he was booted from advising Gordon Brown because of this kind of thing. He's saying if we brought alcohol in now, it would never pass food standards. I see the point, absolutely. The best thing is just to not drink or do drugs, kids.
Yeah, I agree with Nick. Don't do drugs. But this David Nutt, I mean, he seems to be a bit of a contrarian. I mean, I think he does say some things. Alcohol, you know, there are occasionally harmful effects, but there's also good things. Look at, I mean, football violence wouldn't be possible without alcohol, and that makes football more entertaining. And, you know, he says, he defends cannabis here. He says, you know, cannabis is relatively harmless and you'd have to stop 5,000 men aged 20 to 25 from using cannabis to prevent one episode of schizophrenia. It's like, yeah, it's not the schizophrenia, it's the smelly curtains. That's what I'm worried about, the terrible taste in music. You know, the fact that people just get this inertia and just sit in their bums and they start believing, you know, Green Party policy.
Well, there you go, fair enough. The Sun now and police doing some practical research into hate crimes, Leo.
Oh, my God. So 2 top cops are accused of mocking a colleague's Irish accent in a grossly offensive leaving video. So they filmed this skit that shows the then West Midlands Police Chief Constable, Sir David Thompson, and his deputy, Alex Murray, in uniform, pretending not to understand his accent. They simply said yes to anything asked for. And the video, which was recorded in 2018, also includes gun cops posing as travellers, offering to do a driveway and then pretending to break into a car. There are also repeated references to potatoes, and one officer has a toothbrush in an unusual part of his anatomy, while another pretends to be a kidnapped victim. There's also an image of a topless Muslim woman serving alcohol to one of the firearms team and graphic sexual images of women. So, David...
I did have a look at this video and I thought, can we use a clip? And I looked at it and I thought, no, I don't think we can.
That sounds like the whole Royal Flush. You know, before, when you're about to watch them, they say contains scenes of, like, sex, violence, drugs. Like, brilliant. This sounds like it's got everything.
Yeah, it's like the last episode of Headliners.
Bring Lewis back for one more.
I feel like they could be the people to regenerate the British comedy industry.
Yeah.
If they're allowed.
Oh, no.
If they don't arrest themselves.
They won't be allowed. They won't be allowed. So there's a whistleblower and ex-detective inspector, Becky Callum, who says, had this material been sent on social media by a member of the public, then they would have been arrested for a hate crime.
But she's making a good point.
Becky Karen, more like.
But yeah, exactly. Nick is totally right.
Thank you.
That's not the point she's making. The point she's making is, oh, they should all be arrested for having a laugh and having a good time and obviously having camaraderie between them.
But she's revealed what the police have been up to.
Women are horrible.
Nobody should be arrested for stuff like this. This is just fun. She got more than £820,000 compensation in 2023. And you know what's worse? She donated it to charity. Isn't that disgusting? She didn't even have fun with it.
Truly offensive. OK. Coming up, we're going to be discussing the dark side of Peppa Pig. Stay with us for that. This is Headliners, only on GB News.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Blistering heat in parts of Spain. Temperatures could top out over the next few days in southern Spain over 40 Celsius. That heat building and providing some thundery showers in Iberia and southern France into the weekend. A few showers also likely over the Greek islands and Turkey on Saturday. Plenty of warm, sunny weather for Italy and Croatia. Sunny skies too for Spain and Portugal as the heat builds here. And lots of fine weather across the Canaries, where temperatures will continue to rise into next week. And we could get close to 30 degrees in Rome.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Nigel is back.
Good evening.
Unfiltered.
Are these proposals bold enough?
Uncompromising.
Will it bring growth?
Unmissable.
We as a country are brilliant.
Nigel Farage returns this Tuesday from 7 p.m. only on GB News, The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news,
Please bring us up to date.
or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons,
Very, very curious.
we bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie's here.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Cressida Wetton, joined by Leo Kearse and Nick Dixon. I was just having a look at GB News. You all say, Toby Hayes says, reduce alcohol consumption by banning the drinking of pint-sized glasses of wine, capitals, in all TV dramas. Is that a thing? Pint-sized glasses of wine?
Yeah, they're always having those, especially in those sort of Nordic, Scandinavian drama things, the detective ones.
Toby Hayes says we're glamorising it.
Standing at the window. I've got a pint of milk and a large glass of water here, so...
Well, we're very pro-farmers on this channel, so that's a good thing. Tim Sace says, Dream Team tonight. Cressida is looking cute, thank you very much. Cute/tired. And doing a good job of leading to girl power. That's your motto, isn't it, Nick?
Girl power. Yeah, I read that one to you in the break, see. I mean...
You did, and I robbed you of it.
Yeah. People say I'm a misogynist. I love women.
But he couldn't eat... Oh, that's inappropriate. OK, let's go to the Daily Mail now. And Peppa Pig has compromised her artistic choices for clicks, Nick.
Yep, horror as dark Peppa Pig videos that are terrifying kids rack up millions of views on YouTube. So parents are being warned about these dark Peppa Pigs. This is in the allegedly light-hearted section, but this is not a light-hearted story because there's things like Peppa Pig shooting a machine gun and doing cocaine, and we've already discussed how I feel about drugs. But these are actually really horrible. They came to light in 2017. These are things put up ostensibly to look like they're for children, and then they show children horrible things. So the most evil people in the world do this. It's just pure evil. Yeah. And so I'm not sure why it's in the fun section, but hey.
Yeah, and also there's a thing. So I've got a YouTube channel, 145,000 subscribers. You might want to...
Wow. Zero children watching that, I would imagine.
There's a thing where you tick, like, not suitable for children, and it's automatically ticked. So these people have deliberately unticked that and made these accessible to children. And I think it's sad that YouTube haven't been all over this and used their sort of automated algorithms to see when people are making, essentially Peppa Pig fan fiction, and it's showing grim scenes because my kid watches YouTube.
Well, they say they have. I hate to be boring. YouTube says they've taken them down.
Yeah, they're taking them down now that they've been told about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you could reasonably. I'm all for saying, children should be monitored by their parents, but in this case, you're going to see the graphics, think Peppa Pig, fine, I'm safe, and walk away.
And YouTube is the world's biggest TV channel at the moment. It turns over more than makes a profit more than $30 billion a year. It's insane. And then, people are making more money, from running their own ads on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
It's probably.
I love that you turned into the YouTube spokesman. Now you're doing so well on that. Let me tell you about YouTube. It's the world's biggest platform. All right, Leo.
Okay, a classy criminal in The Guardian now, Leo.
OK, so this is the woman who calls herself the UK's Poshest thief, which Richard Madeley might want to argue with, is fined for stealing Le Creuset cookware. So this is Pauline Al-Said and husband Mark Wheatcroft have been fined $2.5 grand between them after thefts from garden centres and M&S. So she stole Le Creuset cookware, steaks, wine and gin. And also, you know what else? She's a 35-year-old former senior criminology lecturer at Bath Spa University. And apparently they walked out with... shoplifters are so brazen now. They just take it out in a shopping trolley because I guess they've seen it on, seen people doing it in California.
They've seen looting.
Also, it's a bit of hiding in plain sight, isn't there? Because she looks so respectable that she's just, if you do it with confidence. I love how she told the court her actions were on the lower end. I don't know if she means of the crime scale or of morality.
Yeah. I was going to say, why do they think this was OK? But, of course, they're in modern Britain is the reason. Yeah, it used to be like, you look posh, so they won't do you for shoplifting. But now they won't do anyone. You can steal thousands of pounds worth of stuff, and that's normal. Keir Starmer gives you a knighthood.
We're just going to squeeze this one in. Finally, in the Telegraph. And if you're still looking for that perfect Father's Day gift, Nick Dixon's got the answer.
Absolutely. It's Sydney Sweeney to sell soap made with her bathwater. And can I say, this is just a deranged, disgusting idea. And the soap isn't even any good, right? My order came through, and it was rubbish. No, just kidding. Sydney Sweeney, she's great, Sydney Sweeney, because she leans into her own, sexiness. You know how modern women are sort of like, I'm a feminist and it's inappropriate, but then they're still sort of naked and stuff. She's just like, buy my bathwater. So at least she's honest.
It's so gross. The thing is, hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body? ...
So many people are going to clip that now.
No, they're not. Don't you dare. This is like something Lewis would long to do. Lewis Schaefer wishes people wanted his soap made of bathwater.
He is 100% selling some sort of scented candle made with the drippings from when he sits on the couch with no trousers on. That's what's happening.
Don't say that. I've got to leave people on that. I don't know very much about Sydney Sweeney. Is she? I don't know what she does. Is she an actress or?
Yes. She was in White Lotus, which is very good.
Well,
How do you not know Sydney Sweeney?
Because I'm a busy girl, as Bruce would say.
I'll send you some websites. All right.
Don't send me any websites. So neither of you are going to be buying some of this then?
No.
Don't assume. I mean, never rule it out.
I like the soap that comes in a thing, squeeze it on top and it comes out. It's easy.
Liquid
Lovely.
soap.
OK, Don't forget, you can stay with us all day, not just on TV, but on your radio and on your smart speaker. To listen to us on your smart speaker, just say Play GB News on TuneIn. That's it for tonight's show. Thank you to my guests, Leo and Nick. They'll both be back tomorrow night at 11 p.m. with Jonathan Cogan. And if you're watching the 5 a.m. repeat, then please stay tuned for breakfast. Thank you. Good night.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. The weekend promises a mixed picture, plenty of showers across northern and western parts and some gusty winds, but fine weather for much of East Anglia and southeast England. Will be turning fresher for all of us behind this cold front, but it's still way out in the Atlantic at this stage. Ahead of it today, we've seen 1 or 2 heavy showers, particularly over northeast Scotland, but they're now fading away. And for many, it's a fine evening out there, staying dry for many overnight, turning quite misty and murky around the coasts of South Wales and southwest England, with a few showers creeping into West Wales and western Scotland later on. Pretty mild, it's pretty humid, temperatures holding up in the teens for many in towns and cities. On to Saturday, and as I said, a mixed picture. Much of eastern England starting fine and dry, but we will see some showers coming into Scotland. Generally here a dry start to the day, and it will be quite a mild start as well. But the rain is gathering, and that will be pushing its way into the west of Northern Ireland fairly smartly through the morning. We'll see some showery rain also arriving in West Wales, and as I said, quite murky around the coasts of Wales and southwest England. But warm and humid across these eastern parts of England. Hazy sunshine here lasting for most of the day. A few showers moving north across maybe the Lake District into southern Scotland, and then this band of wet weather will move across Northern Ireland around the middle part of the day and turn things quite wet and quite windy in western Scotland. Some heavy downpours, even the odd rumble of thunder, and some showers ahead of it too across parts of eastern Scotland and northeast England. A warm, humid feel for many. We could get temperatures into the mid-20s across eastern areas, but Sunday's much fresher. Cooler, less humid air moving in. Again, much of the south and east dry and bright with sunny spells. Showers further north and west with lots of showers coming into western Scotland. And look at those temperatures. We could get to 26, 27 tomorrow by Sunday, highs in the low 20s and for many mid to high teens.
Expect a warm front moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could be our biggest winner yet, touring in this stylish Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. This brand new 2025 model comes complete with kitchen and bathroom areas and enough space to comfortably sleep a family of 4. We'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to add a few of your favourite things. Don't miss out as lines close on the 6th of June. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news,
Please bring us up to date.
or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons,
Very, very curious.
we bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening. Let's take you straight to the White House now, where President Donald Trump is giving a news conference with Elon Musk.
Why don't we be, give credit where credit is due. Income really shooting up.
Rick, I also thought everybody was going to get one last
order of imports that were going to be tariffed, and they were loading up on things. How the hell they already fix the trade, or not fix it, but to cut it in half? That's crazy. So there wasn't a lot of front loading of things that they needed before the tariffs hit?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it really does call into question some of the conventional wisdoms. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next month when we get this number, or we see some of the other numbers like current account, see how they fared. Because I don't know, I've been watching these numbers a long time. I don't think I've ever seen the trade deficit cut in half in 1 month.
Not bad. Right? Not bad.
Come on, guys.
I see Howard and Scott are here, so it's great. You guys want to stand over here? You might as well. You're the ones that help produce those numbers, and it'll only get better. The tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with the decision yesterday where the tariffs continue, because without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled.